apologize for any audio quality issues that you may be experiencing and that we may encounter through this interview.
Hello.
Hi, Nicole. It's Nicholas from Radio Nation. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join us here tonight, and I really appreciate.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. It's nice to have you on the show. So first, I'm going to get off by asking you, Nicole, how did you get started into music?
Music, well, it's actually interesting because nobody in my family actually even plays an instrument or sings or anything like that, but music was always such a big part of all of our lives because we always had such a big love for it, and we all kind of, would always share new music with each other and definitely bonded over it, and, it was always just a huge part of my life, and, I started voice lessons when I was 5 years old, and then after that I started dancing, and then, it kind of just snowballed from that.
Now you began at an early age, and you did dance and vocal training when you were about 5, and you've done school plays and that sort of thing. Was there a defining moment for you when you really realized that music is what I want to do most for my career?
Definitely, actually. It was kind of when I graduated high school, and I was trying to figure out, am I going to go to college? I debated going to school to be a court stenographer. And I had been going to a couple of the meetings and meeting with the school, and I just had a moment where I was like, I cannot do this. I need to be a singer. I need to be dancing. I need to pursue my dreams. And from then on, that's what I've been doing. So it was definitely that moment where I was like, I can't go to school. I have to pursue my dreams.
Now, I've read in an article that you're from Staten Island, New York, which is pretty awesome. I have been there myself.
Is it?
I like the island. I think it's a cool place to hang out.
It's fun.
I guess because it's it's kind of the forgotten borough or area of New York City. Was it a bit challenging? Do you get looks from people? Do people say, "Oh, you're from Staten Island"? Is that kind of like a thing in New York City?
It actually definitely is a thing, and a lot of the people I meet in New York City actually say they've never even been to Staten Island, or they've never, some people say they've never even heard of it, which is, I think it's hilarious because it is one of the 5 boroughs, and it's definitely your forgotten borough.
Now, has that posed any bit of a challenge to you in your career? Do have people kind of looked at you and said, "Oh, it's that girl from Staten Island"? I don't know.
No, I don't think so because I don't even associate myself with that in any way. I kind of just, I only represent myself, so I can't, represent other people or, I just stand for myself. So that hasn't really posed any challenges for me in that sense.
Now, what have been some of your influences musically growing up?
Well, I mean, Beyonce is a huge inspiration to me. She's pretty much the reason I want to be an entertainer. Definitely Beyonce. Lana Del Rey is huge inspiration as well. I love her music. Right now I'm listening to a lot of Drake, Miguel, Lord, Madonna was always a big idol of mine too, so those are definitely some of my major inspirations.
Now, what have been some major challenges in your career?
I think every day is a challenge. Every day is a challenge. It's really hard being an unsigned artist, and I'm lucky because I have a really great team that I work with and a lot of supportive people. But there's always little obstacles and things that you have to overcome, and it can be tough. It really is. It's definitely tough, but nothing good is ever easy. So you just have to keep pushing through. Keep persevering.
Now, you just released your album not too long ago titled Rose Gold.
Yes, I did.
Talk a bit about the album. What sort of things can listeners expect to hear on it?
I'm sorry?
Talk a bit about your album and what listeners can expect to hear on this album.
Oh, Rose Gold is definitely, it's definitely your album that you would put on when your girlfriends are coming over and you're about to go out and hit the club. It's really fun. It's girly. It talks about love. For me, it's kind of, I think, a really good introduction as to who I am, and it kind of just skims the surface. But it's really lighthearted, which I like for now.
What were some of the challenges in creating the album?
I I think one of the biggest challenges was really just getting everything, set in place that you need to put forth an album, because it's really a long process and you don't realize how much actually goes into it. I think the biggest challenge was trying to just get everything done in a timely fashion. There's always little things popping up, things that just unexpected difficulties. So that was kind of just the hardest part, just getting everything done, on the date that I wanted it to be finished, because it's a very long process.
Now, you actually picked the date to release it, and the date has a bit of a special meaning to you. At least that's what I gathered by following your Facebook feed for a little while. So talk a bit about the date that you picked.
Yeah, well, I chose to release it on October 10th. Everything, I'm kind of that person that I read into everything. So, the date had a special meaning to me, and the way that I wanted to kind of promote the EP was that it was actually it was almost a little secret. I didn't come right out and say what I was promoting, which I think kind of intrigued people more. And that date, it just so happened to be that date that I picked, and I'm the type of person that I relate everything into a bigger meaning and whatnot. And so that date to me, it was just actually a special date to me. So I chose that day for the EP.
Now, you're also a dancer with the the Brooklyn Nets, and that's pretty awesome. But I'm reading here in this article that your dancing goes back quite some ways, where you were selected as one of 10 dancers perform at Madonna's launch party for her clothing line Material Girl, way back when. What was that like?
Yeah. That was awesome. That was for me, that was right out of high school, and that was my first real gig. So it was unbelievable to be thrown in a room with all these professional dancers and and Madonna herself. And then a few months later, I got signed to a dance agency, and I actually booked a Madonna video. So I actually am in "Give Me All Your Lovin'" by Madonna, but I'm wearing a mask, so you can't see me. But yeah, I got to work with her as well then, and I also got to work with Nicki Minaj and MIA, because they were both featured on that track. So that was really an amazing experience, just to be in the presence of such iconic talent. It was truly unbelievable. It was one of the best experiences of my life.
Now, hanging out with people like that, I mean, did you get to take away anything that they do musically that you've sort of learned and has helped you in your career?
Yeah, I think I kind of it was more on the I took something away more on the business side of things, because just to see the way Madonna was with all of us and the way that she ran the show, and she knew exactly what she wanted, and she's such a perfectionist, and she's so good at what she does. But I think what I really took away from it was just really how to get your job done and do it properly, and just really be amazing. I was too. I don't know. That was kind of what I took away from it.
At any point has since then have you tried to reach out to any of those artists, or just been like, hey, I was in your video, do you have any tips, is there any way I can network with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always networking with anyone that I can. I haven't necessarily been able to reach out to them, but I do have a lot of people that I'm networking with, and just looking to take my project to the next level. So hopefully soon big things will be coming my way.
Now, you put out the album, which is fantastic, of course. And what is sort of the next step for you in terms of going forward? Is it playing some more shows? What's sort of the next step for you?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing some more shows. Mainly, I'm writing and recording new music. I'm definitely experimenting with some new sounds and things that I haven't really messed with before. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm definitely getting a little more personal on this next album. So I'm really excited about that, and to share that with everyone.
Now, not only do you write your own music, but you've written music for other artists, and I'm reading here that you've written from artists in the United Kingdom. What's it like to write music for other artists?
It's interesting, because I think when you're writing for yourself, it can be really personal. But when you're writing for other people, I sometimes enjoy it, not better, but just as much, because it's kind of like creating a story. It's kind of like creative writing. And I think that's really fun, because you can kind kind of make up a story. Maybe it's not necessarily personal to you, but it's something that it's something that you've imagined. So I think it's really fun to write for other people as well.
If you're just joining us live on the show, we have Nicole Medoro from Staten Island, New York, the forgotten borough, of course. And we're taking your questions for her off of Twitter. So if you want to tweet us at Radio Nation, you're more than welcome to do so. One of the questions here is from Vanessa in Washington. She's great with the creative questions. She wants to know, if you had a choice between being any mythical creature, what would you be?
Mythical creature. That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever really thought about that.
I never have either, to be honest.
I'm sorry?
I said I never have either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've definitely never thought about that. The main thing I've thought about is that if I had any kind of interesting powers or anything like that, I would definitely want to be able to fly. that's my answer to that. I just want to be able to fly.
Now, if you could perform anywhere in the world, where would you like to perform?
Madison Square Garden. Come on. Where else?
Yes, and of course, being basically a short drive down the road from that arena,
exactly,
you're not too far from it. So it should have been an obvious answer, but of course, got to ask it just in case there's somewhere else.
Yeah, totally.
Now, in terms of, we were talking about places you like to perform, that sort of thing. Is there anything about yourself that people generally don't know about you?
Yeah, there's actually, I think what would surprise people is definitely that I really have a love for rock music. And, I mean, I love all different genres of music, but I think me being, the girly pop chick that I am, you wouldn't expect me to rock out to some Pearl Jam and The Who and U2 and all that stuff. So I think that might surprise people.
Going forward with your career, what is the next step for you other than booking shows?
I think just really growing as an artist and really just making new music and getting more and more personal and more connected to the people that listen to my music, and that's honestly the main concern for me. I mean, I would love to, I'm the type of person that when I do something, I like to do it the best and be 100% and take it all the way to the top. But really, my main concern is just expressing myself and just creating music and being able to connect with people like that. So that's really what I'm excited about and looking forward to.
This question is from Karina in Victoria, British Columbia. She wants to know, was there ever any point or has there been any point where you've ever actually doubted yourself?
Of course. there's always moments of doubt. But my favorite quote is that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So, I mean, I think doubt it's human nature to doubt yourself. But, I usually, every time I have a negative thought, I counteract it with a positive thought. Every time I'm like, oh, Nicole, you can't do that. I'm like, no, Nicole, you can do that. You can do that. So, yes, I do doubt myself, but you have to learn to overcome that.
Are there other ways you try to stay positive?
I'm sorry?
Are there other ways that you try to stay positive, whether it's just, doing sort of relaxing or therapeutic things? Are there other ways that you try to stay positive and focused?
Yeah, I try to stay really, really, centered with myself. I read a lot. I'm really into, reading about my sign and astrology, and it gives me kind of a better sense of, who I am and where I came from and stuff like that. So I definitely try to just, I consider myself to be a spiritual person. I think that makes me a happy person. So that's definitely, helps me be more positive at times when, people or things try to bring you down. That definitely, just remaining true to myself definitely allows me to be more positive and happy.
Couple more questions here from Twitter. What is one of your favorite lyrics in one of your own songs or in a song that you've heard?
Oh God, it's way too many, but definitely one of my favorite lyrics in one of my songs is from Running Back, and the lyric says, "I loved you, I love you, I lived you," and I think that is just so perfect because it just really sums up what it's like to just live through this crazy relationship and how it just consumed you. But that's one of my favorite lyrics.
Vanessa's got a lot of questions here, and a lot of them are funky and fun and really weird, to be honest with you. But totally, don't worry, they're all appropriate. They're just interesting questions. One of them is, if a movie were made about your life, what would the title be?
What would the title be? I think right now at this moment it might be Rose Gold. I mean, it seems appropriate.
If you were, and this is from Vanessa in Washington State, if you were bred, what type of sandwich would you want to be made into?
What type of sandwich? If I was bred, okay, I would definitely want to be some sort of Italian sandwich from an Italian deli with fresh mozzarella and roasted peppers.
Are you ready for this one?
I don't know if I'm ready. Try me.
If you, what would you be doing if a zombie apocalypse happened right now?
I would be running and screaming, like fight or flight. I'm flight. So I'd be running for my life.
Well, I'd still be on the air if it happened at this moment, so I'd probably be listening to you on the other end. This question comes from @new_hollowers. Dull question, do you have any pets, and what are they? What are their names?
I don't. I had a dog named Ginger, and she was like the love of my life. And she died when I was 10 years old, and my family is literally still getting over it, and we haven't had a pet since then. But I really would like another dog. I love dogs.
You ready for this one? If you're stranded on a desert island, and there are 3 people or 3 things that you cannot bring with you, you don't want to bring these 3 items or 3 people with you, who or what are they?
3 things that I don't want on a desert island? Is that the question?
That's the question.
3 things that I don't want on a desert island. I suppose I wouldn't want anything that would hurt me, or... That's a really weird question. I don't even know what to say to that.
Is it, you know what?
I don't want anybody that would, annoy me or hurt me or be not helpful to getting off the island. Sorry, if that's the worst answer ever.
Now, that leads me to ask, are you afraid of anything? Are you, afraid of snakes or spiders or anything like that?
I'm pretty much definitely afraid of spiders. You can ask my little sister. My sister's 12 years old, and anytime I spot a spider, I'm like, you have to get it. I'm not going anywhere near it. So, yeah, I'm really afraid of spiders.
What song of yours that you have written or maybe even written for somebody else means the most to you?
There's really so many, and there's so many that haven't even been released yet that mean so much to me. But I have to say, Running Back, I know I just quoted Running Back, but Running Back is a really, really special song to me. That definitely means a lot. That song definitely means a lot to me.
What is the hardest part about being a musician?
I think the hardest part is just, staying innovative and not, copying anybody and not copying the people that are in the spotlight just because they're in the spotlight, and just really try to stay creative and, true to who you are, no matter what other people tell you, because people will tell you that's thanks, that's terrible, just because, maybe it's different to them, but you have to just stay true to who you are and do what just do what comes from your heart. So I think that's just kind of one of the biggest challenges.
Couple more questions for you here. Let's talk about social media. It's important for pretty much every artist, and if you're not on it, you're not going to go very far, at least getting new fans. So talk about how you use social media, and how do you use your role as being a Brooklyn Nets dancer to help your own music career.
I actually don't use it at all, and actually, it's their branding and my branding are 2 completely different things. So, when I'm a Brooklyn Nets dancer, I'm a Brooklyn Nets dancer, and when I'm Nicole Medoro the artist, I'm Nicole Medoro the artist. So it's actually totally separate. But yeah, I think social media in general is really important. I try to keep it interesting. I try not to, I think it's really saturated, and people are always kind of, just writing the same kind of post over and over again. So I try to just keep it interesting and intrigue people, and like I said before, promoting my EP, I was a little secretive about it. I kind of, raised some mystery and didn't exactly come right out and say what I was promoting. So, yeah, I just try to keep it interesting. That's how I use social media.
Now, how do people find you on social media?
You can find me by searching at Nicole Medoro. That's NicoleMedoro. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. All you need to do is search my name, and you'll find me.
Very cool. Now, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that I should ask you before I let you go?
I think we've covered a lot. I mean, I told you what I was afraid of. I told you what I wouldn't want to bring on a desert island, what kind of sandwich I would want to be. I think we got it.
This is a great question. It's the last question I'm going to end off with. It comes from at New Hollowers, and it goes like this: what is the title of the first song you ever wrote, and what song did you write when you were younger that makes you cringe now?
Oh my God, so many. The first song I ever wrote was called. Let me think about it. I think it was called Falling, actually, and that was kind of the working title because we didn't want to call it that because of Alicia Keys falling. But that was the name of the first thing I wrote was called Falling, and there's definitely a few unfinished songs that I have in my notebook that when I look back I cringe. Yeah, you won't be hearing those anytime soon.
Well, Nicole, it was nice to have you on the program, and I want to say thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, and you're always welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care, Nicole.
You too, bye-bye.
Cheers. And there you have it. There's Nicole Medoro from Staten Island, New York. Again, the forgotten borough, of course. So here it is. This is her song, Running Back, by Nicole Medoro. You're listening to Radio Nation. Follow along on Twitter at Radio_Nation.
What does it mean when I say that I can't live without your love? Boy, I feel so torn sometimes. Never knew back then that I loved you, I lived you. I hate that I'm dying inside. Want you in a way that I can't understand why. Wanna let it go, but I can't even know I tried. You got my heart, I lost control. Not holding on, but I can't let it go. What is it about you? I don't know. Got my mind and my soul. I need you, I'm addicted, boy. I hate that I'm dying inside. I want you in a way that I can't understand why. Wanna let it go, but I can't even if I try.
And there you have it. That's Running Back with Nicole Medoro. Coming up next, another 90s tune. I'm sure you'll remember this one. You're listening to Radio Nation. Follow along on Twitter at Radio_Nation.